Welcome to the Watch Society. Welcome to the weekly Watch News Roundup. To kick things off this week, we have the collaboration between LVMH and Kari Voutilainen for the new Louis Voutilainen watch. It's a collaboration of 5 pieces, each for $600,000, but it brings together a case from Louis Vuitton, a movement from Kari Voutilainen, a dial that works from both sides, and the end result is, I think, quite beautiful. It's 40.5 millimeters. The case is tungsten mid case and platinum top and bottom case with platinum lugs. It's a really interesting combination, and the Kari Voutilainen movement is absolutely gorgeous. The dial itself is this combination between what Kari Voutilainen famously does at his own dial factory and the hand painting works that comes from Louis Vuitton. So this combination creates this almost stained glass window look to it. If you don't have any appreciation for the ridiculousness that is Kari Voutilainen and what he does, just look at the hands real quick. They're actually a mix between stainless steel and white gold that is then heat treated for the stainless steel to turn blue and the white gold to stay its white gold. To get that flawless combination of metals and then heat treat it to show that they're different metals is really a very difficult thing to do on a scale of watch hands. Incredibly small, and that's just a part of the attention that Kari Voutilainen does. This watch, I think, some people did not appreciate it. Some people absolutely love it. It's certainly not for everybody, but the hand craftsmanship that goes into this should be noticed. And the price tag that comes with it at $600,000 for only 5 being made is silly. But at the same time, you can spend $1.5 million on the new Richard Mille, which doesn't have anything close to the work that goes into this. And it has a Ferrari symbol on it. So there are worse ways to spend your money. And another thing is the proceeds from this and future collaborations with independents that are planned go to fund the LVMH Emerging Watchmakers grant. So these watches aren't meant to just be a art piece to show off for the very few clients who can afford them and can even have access to them. They're also meant to fund the next generation of watchmakers that help teach them the craftsman and the art and keep what this watch is and the artistry that goes into making it alive through a time when we're trying to just do things as quickly as possible with computers, but instead this expensive piece of art is used to fund future artists. So good on LVMH. That's a great way to spend your money, I think. Now, the Louis Voutilainen watch took up so much oxygen out of the room that it was hard for anyone to talk about anything else that day, and the Ressence Type 7 was kind of ignored. It was launched the same day, which we've reviewed the Ressence before, and it's worth taking a look, but their system of using magnets and oil-filled watches creates this very unique system that nobody else does. So kudos on them for that, to do something new. And then now they've added a GMT function and an integrated bracelet. So it's the first time they've had a bracelet on a Ressence. And the look is really modern and really interesting. I'm wondering how this fits on the wrist with the big globe that is a Ressence and the bracelet kind of holding it against your wrist more. But in pictures, this thing looks pretty cool. The price of $40,000 is a bit high, but there's no real competition on the market. There's not anyone else doing what they do. So they're kind of finding their price point, and Ressence is just seeing who will bite and who their audience is. Plus, they do have to amortize this very odd system that they've invested so heavily into. I think this is one of those pieces that if you really like, you're going to find on the aftermarket for a pretty decent price. If you're an early adopter and you love what Ressence does, this is something new. It looks great. It comes in 2 different colorways, this blue and this kind of aqua. Really, it's, I think, a good looking watch. Obviously, the price point's a bit much. You could buy a gold Grand Seiko for the same price, which is some people's cup of tea. But I think if you have the money to burn and you like this piece, this is certainly something that's going to stick out in the watch box and not everybody's going to have. On watch news, it doesn't have to do with a new watch. Panerai has a changeover of CEOs. Now, the outgoing CEO, Jean-Marc Pontrot, has been there since 2017 and hasn't gained a lot of fans in the Panerai community because the movement quality has gone down, the prices have gone up, the amount of limited editions has increased, and the hardcore Panerai fan has felt like they've gotten away from who they are with all of these different editions and different case materials and slimming down and this and that, and especially the Luminaire Duo, which I think looks great. I love the slimmer design. Probably my favorite Panerai that I would buy, but a 30-meter water resistance for a Panerai, which their entire point is to be a tough dive watch, that's a cardinal sin, and a lot of people feel that way. So nobody's really shedding a tear for him leaving, I think, especially because he was known to share fake Panerai pictures on Instagram and fake Panerais coming out of China on Instagram. So he got called out for some not so great practices. Like I said, not many people in the Panerai community I think are going to miss him. Good luck to him in the future, of course. We'll see what happens. His replacement, Emmanuel Perrin, sorry for screwing up every French name possible, comes from 33 years at Richemont, specifically Cartier, Van Cleef & Arpels, and most recently from the Specialist Watchmakers Division, which was kind of the office that tried to push all the retailers to what they should carry and what they shouldn't carry with Richemont brands, and hasn't been really popular with the retailers, but seems to be going away with the general Richemont shuffle right now, as their new CEO of Richemont that came from Van Cleef & Arpels has started to shake things up over there, and the general sentiment inside the company is this is a good thing. So we'll see where this goes, and like I said, a lot of Panerai fans are okay with this change. On the microbrand watch news, Paulin Watches, who we just did an event with down in Austin with our Austin Watch Society, released a new Crystal Zapata designed watch. She's a artist from Chicago, and Paulin likes to do collaborations with different artists. This is a smaller 35 millimeter case, quartz powered by an Etta quartz movement for $550. It's definitely a little smaller than a lot of us are used to, but I think the design's kind of cool. It's certainly an artistic take on a watch, and I like the fact that microbrands can do this. They can bring in outside artists to do something new to the dial. And yeah, it's a little small for most of us, but if you have somebody in your family with a smaller wrist, either they young or just small, this will fit them well. Or if you prefer vintage sizing, this works well too. Generally, check out Paulin. They're the sister company to Anordain, the kind of more well-known side of the company. But they make some really fun designs, very approachable price point. Just about everything they do is under $1,000, from automatic to quartz. It's definitely a cool brand, and they also have watch clocks that you can customize. That's another thing that a lot of us enjoy, just having that reminder of our love of watches on the wall too. So check their brand out. Another micro brand quartz collaboration to come out was with Brew and Worn and Wound. Brew's been known for these not quite square integrated bracelet watches, and really has a fan following because they look cool. They're at an approachable price point, whether they are automatic powered or quartz powered. In this case, it's a quartz powered watch that is a regulator chrono, which is not something you usually see, which means it's a regulator watch where the hour, minute, and second are actually in separate parts of the dial, and then it has a chronograph function on top of that. That means there's a lot going on. It's going to read a little differently than you're used to, but it's one of those things that you get used to pretty quickly if you wear it. But the cool part is it's also a fully loomed dial, which really is striking in the dark, and during the daytime is this interesting off-white color. I think it looks really good. I love what Brew does. I think they have a huge fan base in the community, and Worn and Wound specifically tries to talk to independence and push up independence. So I think both are great. The only surprising point to me is that for $550 and 500 of them being made, that as of this filming, there's still stock. I'm surprised they didn't sell out quicker. So check them out before they're gone. That's Worn & Wound's Brew collaboration. And lastly, thanks to a late night press conference, we have one more watch, and that is Formex with an all ceramic essence. And we love Formex around here. We've had them do events for us. In fact, the first watch that was done with any of our chapters with the Atlanta Watch Society, Formex watch with the Eisenkiesel dial. It's absolutely gorgeous. And seeing them push the boundaries here, which is with a ceramic micro adjust bracelet, the first of its kind. For all of those big brands like Audemars Piguet that have been putting out ceramic bracelets for so long, this is the first brand to do a micro adjust on one. It's a micro brand. It's a small brand out of Switzerland that makes some really cool watches, and they're the ones pushing the boundary. You have to appreciate that. And the Essence case in general is a good looking sports watch. This one's 41 millimeters, has a full ceramic case, a skeletonized dial that comes in 4 different colors on the markers, a black, a rose gold, a blue, and a purple. All look pretty cool. It kind of depends on how stealthy to how bright you like your watch. It's your choice of which one you prefer. And they even, for this one, re-engineered their suspension system, which is the mid case actually pops up and down on the bracelet around it, and it forms to your wrist more. As you flex your wrist, the watch kind of just forms to your wrist. It's incredibly comfortable, and alone is worth checking out Formex watches for. And they add a screw down crown for the first time on the Essence to make sure it still has the 100 meters of water resistance. That is going the extra mile. When Panerai is putting out duos with 30 millimeters of water resistance, Formex is over here putting out an all ceramic micro adjust and making sure it still has the 100 meters of water resistance. That's why you have to respect these micro brands. They are willing to stick to their guns and do things right no matter what, and because they know their audience is going to care. And when you have others that don't, it's reason why you don't miss the CEO. Versus over at Formex, those guys are great. We've talked to them a few times. We did a interview with Marcus from Formex. These guys do a great job. They design some beautiful watches. And there's another great example of not only is the design good, the people are nice, but they're pushing forward technology within the watch industry, even though they're a smaller brand. So good on Formex. This is a really cool looking watch. It's just north of $4,000 for a full ceramic, Sellita powered. I think that's a pretty good price because ceramic is a pain to work with in bracelets, and they're pushing the boundaries. So if you are interested in these, I would say go ahead and jump on it. A full ceramic watch for that price, comfortable case, and I think they're all limited editions, so they're not going to last that long, and they've certainly garnered the attention that they should garner, and a price point that is incredibly approachable for a full ceramic watch. So good job, Formex. Look forward to seeing this one in person. Thank you for joining me on this week's Watch News Roundup. Is there anything you missed? Anything you disagree with? Let us know in the comments. Have a good weekend.